This is the region that you have to be very, 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 very careful of traveling to during hurricane season. Hey guys, this is Adriana from Travelpreneur.com, and I'm here to share with you what it's like living and traveling in the hurricane season. Now, I know some of you, a lot of you, don't know what it's like to really live when hurricane season comes around. And that really starts from June and ends November 30th. So that's 6 months worth of hurricanes that you have to deal with, or the possibility of some storms passing through while you're traveling to the southeast of the United States in the Caribbean. So this past week, my birthday was on Wednesday, September 6th, woohoo! And I was traveling to Savannah, Georgia. I currently live in Clinton, South Carolina, so about a 3.5 hour drive to Savannah, Georgia, just to celebrate my birthday and to celebrate life as we know it. And when I got there, I left South Carolina on Thursday afternoon. And I arrived later that day, and when I got there, the hotel clerk told me that, well, you could stay one night, but we're evacuating all guests tomorrow, which was Friday. And I was upset, frustrated, because one, I didn't get any confirmation, nor did I get a phone call or email about this change in our stay. And so obviously, with the hurricane coming and then with Savannah being near the water, I was like, well, I need to go back home. I just returned home, another 4-hour drive back to Clinton, South Carolina. And I had to realize that, one, it is a hurricane season. It's a risk when you make plans to go somewhere in the southeast, in the Caribbean. And so it's something that you have to think about when you're making your plans. That one, do you have travel insurance? Do you have yourself covered when you go to these places to reimburse you or to cover the cost of maybe returning home, or even to stay additional days if you need to. I've seen stories where people were stranded in the Caribbean because when the storm hit, they had no place to go. They had to really either hide or get to safety, or they had no place to. They couldn't leave the island, or they couldn't leave their the place where they were. So during hurricane season, it is more like a gamble. It's a risk. So if you're planning to come to Florida, go to the Caribbean between the months of June and November, the end of November, then travel insurance is your friend. For me, when I travel to Savannah, I asked to pay at the hotel rather than pay up front. That would have been a whole different issue if, when I returned home, having to be reimbursed from the company after I've paid the deposit for my 3-day stay. So for me, I would rather pay later, especially because the costs were similar. So think about how you protect yourself during this season. I know sometimes people aren't really thinking about at what point and where they're going. It's more about getting there. But it's also about planning. It's about educating yourself about the particular region and what storms happen in this particular region. Again, the hurricane season is from the start of June to the end of November. That's 6 months. 6 whole months to think about the possibility of storms passing through. And not only just passing through, but just damaging wherever it lands. So we've heard about Hurricane Harvey and what happened in Houston. We have Hurricane Irma right now. Right behind it is Hurricane Jose. So this season, for some reason, is just back to storms. And so we need to be cautious when we're making plans during this season. So this isn't to say that you have to avoid this particular region from June to November this season, but I do warn you, and I want to let you know that you need to make sure that you know where you're going and what storms can possibly happen. That if you download the app and keep track of any storms that are coming through this way, because right now we've had 4 storms back to back. Not just in Florida, but just in this region, period. So be mindful of that. I know for me, I have to be extra careful, extra cautious, because not only am I traveling for myself, but I'm also worried about and also being mindful of my international students who have never experienced hurricane season. So I have to keep being informed and make sure I'm up to date with what storms are happening, and especially because I had a group of students who were going to Savannah this weekend, like myself, and I had to let them know that, hey, don't go there. Just because Savannah is already evacuating their residents and their guests. So you may want to stay here and make alternative plans for to travel. So if you have anything you want to share with me, the information is below to contact me, social media, email, etc. So let's get social, do some good, and let's travel.